You're welcome to Adkwart Studios. I have a big question for you as a black man. When are we going to behave as human beings? When are we going to think as human beings? My question is, do we have conscience? Do we have conscience? At times we behave even not like animals. Or even at times the devil does what is good than some of the black men. If it has not been the Lord who is taking care of Burkina Faso, we might have heard what a tragedy. But we thank God that Ibrahim Traoré have what it takes. I said Ibrahim Traoré is not just a leader, but is a gift for Africa. Ibrahim Traoré have defensive and offensive. Not knowing some of the wicked, corrupt, give me some of the adjectives. Selfish, mean. In Burkina Faso, trying to overthrow the three nations. Now, if you watch the video, you'll be surprised that we have some of the Africans who think like animals. They are so wicked. They don't care. I would like you to take your time and watch this video. And at the end, try to give your comment. Let's go and watch the video.
Scale arms seizure took place in Burkina Faso, an event that shocked the world. In this special operation, led directly by President Ibrahim Traoré, the government intercepted 57 trucks loaded with military weapons and ammunition. The discovery left everyone asking, who were these weapons for, and who is pulling the strings behind it? The bust happened in the Canary region near the border with Togo. During a routine patrol, border guards spotted something unusual, a long convoy moving slowly along the border late at night at an hour when the area is normally silent. The convoy's size and strange timing immediately raised red flags. Captain Moussa Kabore, the border commander, quickly alerted senior officials. Initial intelligence suggested the trucks were carrying humanitarian aid, but something felt wrong. Who delivers aid shipments at midnight? And why take back roads instead of the main route? President Traoré didn't hesitate. Realizing the danger, he called Special Forces Commander General Ibrahim Zerbo and issued a clear but cautious order. Intercept that convoy, but be careful. This could be more than just smuggling. The Special Forces moved swiftly, setting up a covert ambush along the convoy's route. Drones and helicopters tracked the trucks from above. At 4 a.m., the operation began. The road was blocked just as the convoy arrived. Taken by surprise, the drivers tried to escape, but within minutes, they were captured. When the first truck was opened, the team was stunned. Beneath sacks disguised as aid supplies were AK-47 second, M16 second, rocket launchers, grenades, everything you would expect in a full military arsenal, and every truck was the same. Captain Kabore immediately called the president. Mr. President, you won't believe this. These trucks are packed with enough weapons to equip an entire army. Calme but résolute, President Traoré replied, secure everything, do not lose a single bullet, and make those drivers talk. We must know who is behind this. Someone is preparing for war in Burkina Faso. The scale of the operation and the sheer amount of firepower involved prove this is no small-time smuggling ring. The question now is, who is planning what and why? The investigation unfolds. The captured driver, Marc-Antoine Zongo, was the first to break. Shaking with fear, he finally spoke. They told us we were hauling agricultural machine parts. We were to drop them off at a warehouse in Togo, and from there, they would be shipped overseas. But as investigators dug deeper, the story unraveled. What came to light was staggering. Most of the drivers truly had no idea what they were transporting. But the organizers, they knew exactly what they were doing. Each truck had been dispatched from a different location, at different times, using different routes. They only joined up just before crossing the border, a deliberate move to avoid suspicion. By the second day, investigators uncovered even more disturbing details. Burkina Faso's intelligence team managed to recover partial serial numbers on the weapons, even though many had been filed off. Using advanced forensic technology, they traced the weapons to surprising sources. Some were leftovers from the Libyan civil war. Others had been used in Yemen, and some were brand new, straight from the factory, never fired once. The total value of the haul, over $700 million. That raised the most pressing question: who had the kind of money to fund this, and what were they planning? President Ibrahim Traoré immediately called an emergency meeting of the National Security Council. The full inventory of the seized arsenal was laid out on the table: 25,000 AK-47 second, 10,000 M16 second, 13 million rounds of ammunition, 70,000 hand grenades, 2,500 rocket launchers, 400 anti-aircraft missiles, and 50 tons of explosives. Defense Minister General Sadou was stunned. "This isn't just a shipment," he said. "With this firepower, you could invade an entire country." Interior Minister Husseini Koré added grimly, "If these weapons had reached the wrong hands, Burkina Faso would be in chaos right now. Terror groups could have launched a long-term insurgency. Worse, this could have fueled a full-blown coup." President Traoré stood and addressed the room. "This is not random. This is part of a much bigger plan to destabilize our country, just like Libya, Syria, and Yemen. But we are not asleep. We have just stopped something huge." Then, Commandant Wedra Ogo, head of intelligence, delivered another bombshell. "Mr. President, one of the drivers just gave us a name. The weapons were headed to secret warehouses in Ouagadougou. That's where they were going to be distributed." Without hesitation, President Traoré ordered, "Launch a full-scale operation in Ouagadougou. Search every suspicious warehouse. Find out who is waiting for these weapons. And most importantly, trace the money. Follow the finances. That's where the truth will come out." This was no ordinary smuggling case. It was an attempt to ignite a war from the shadows. And Traoré might have stopped it just in time. The next day, at dawn, Operation Storm began in the capital. Simultaneous raids were conducted at 23 different addresses. Weapons were discovered in 17 warehouses. Among those arrested were familiar names: former ministers, retired generals, wealthy businessmen, and even foreign diplomats. Their common trait: open opposition to the TRAORÉ administration. By the fourth day, the investigation took a shocking turn. One of the arrested suspects, a prominent businessman named François Bongo, cracked under pressure. His confession hit like a thunderclap. Barely able to speak, he admitted, "This wasn't just about weapons. The plan was set in motion months ago. Foreign powers promised us their support. The goal was clear: overthrow President Traoré and install a pro-Western puppet government." President Traoré leaned forward and asked the million-dollar question: "Which foreign powers?" Bongo hesitated. Then, trembling, he revealed, "The planning meetings were held in Accra. Some delegates came from Abidjan. The instructions came from Paris. And we got the green light from Washington." The room fell into stunned silence. No one moved. Calmly, President Traoré said, "Go on," and Bongo laid it all out. Here was the plan. The plan was chilling: stage terrorist attacks to create mass panic, use the chaos to mobilize opposition groups, then, with the help of traitors inside the army, launch a military coup. Even worse, this was no amateur plot. The operation had a name: Operation Restored Democracy. Its budget, $700 million. And the 57 trucks of weapons were only phase one. Under pressure, François Bongo dropped more names, and some were jaw-dropping. Allegedly involved were diplomats from Western embassies, executives at multinational corporations, and even officials from international NGOs. President Ibrahim Traoré knew the world needed to see the truth with their own eyes. He called a nationally televised press conference, one that would go down in history. Behind him stood a towering display of the confiscated weapons. Viewers at home were stunned by the sheer scale of the arsenal. He began, "My fellow Burkinabe, and to the international community. 3 days ago, we intercepted the largest weapons smuggling operation in our nation's history. But this was more than smuggling. It was part of a coordinated plan to destroy our country from within." Holding up a stack of classified documents, he continued, "Here is the proof. 47 trucks, $100 million worth of military hardware. The goal? To plunge Burkina Faso into chaos, to pit our people against each other, and to install a government that answers to foreign powers, not to our citizens. Traoré's voice grew firmer. Where did the weapons come from? I cannot reveal all the details yet, but know this: imperialist powers still think they can control Africa. They are wrong. We are no longer asleep. We are wide awake. Journalists erupted with questions. CNN, which countries are behind this? Traoré, the investigation is ongoing, but some of the weapons were manufactured in NATO countries. BBC, who are the masterminds? Traoré. So far, 17 individuals have been arrested, including former ministers and generals. Informants are talking. The full truth will soon be known. Al Jazeera. How will this impact regional security? Traoré. This is not just an attack on Burkina Faso. This is an attack on all of Africa. Similar plots are unfolding in Mali, Niger, and Guinea. We must unite. Russian press. Will you tighten security? Traoré. Absolutely. The army is on high alert. Borders are locked down. And most importantly, our people are with us. To close the press conference, Traoré played a video clip of Francois Bongo's full confession. The businessman appeared on screen, tears streaming down his face. They lied to us. They said we were bringing democracy, but all we would have done was destroy our own country. President Traoré was right. We betrayed our people. I was wrong. I am sorry. The room fell silent. Then President Traoré ended with a powerful statement. That is the real face of this plot. People willing to sell out their country for money and power. But they failed. And they will continue to fail. Because Burkina Faso stands united. By the 5th day of the investigation, things took an even darker turn. Authorities combed through data, recovered from seized laptops and phones. What they uncovered was chilling. This wasn't just a plot against Burkina Faso. The entire Sahel region was in the crosshairs. According to the documents, separate plans had been drawn up for multiple countries. In Burkina Faso, they would remove President Traoré. In Mali, President Assimi Goïta. In Niger, General Abdourahmane Chiani. The goal was the same in every case: to install pro-Western leaders who would...
Yeah, what you ne brofo anti mame enka ne twi na ma sembusa ne se edi epa na haya bibifo yi bi mu because the ekoso Burkina Faso bi betimi akoso Ghana ha utie ya 47 trucks a akodie nko a egum 47 na omo de niema gum se a Greek ayi niema ye de yekua na Ibrahim Traoré ene na srafo no omo ye smart ankasa na omo hu se trucks no every Togo ebewura Burkina Faso but ade omo hu ye ne se adenti na omo de sa niema we ebo manimu na omo fa the major road no na omo ne na baby enti omo hu omo ntem na omo create mfidie nso a ehwe Burkina Faso the borders ni nyina so enti omo akire fidie ne baako a shrug ne baako omo bie mu no na omo hwe niema ewo mu no ayakode nko a ehwa na Captain Odano no Efre Ibrahim Traoré say trucks na eba omawe mu no na nye a Greek niema na omde bo na yakode enti omo ya adwen say trucks ni bia no mani nko ba bia ana omo capture ni nyina afi omo ye omo adwen say omo ye nhwehwemu a akodi a ewo mu no atuo no ebi oho no a omo hu yiye se ye de ako ewo ma bi esoda afi na osomo ye se enka omo de kwahin afi omo trezi ye no sei na wagade kronu afinfin no ena omo warehouses ahodo be if I'm not mistaken aburudu ana omo de niema wei enka ekogumu enti ebeba se aya niema bi a obi akra na odi beboa ku adwuma Burkina Faso abibifo aden what does Ibrahim Traoré okay o se ye nai na omonso na yeni yankrofo entoni oman no embankrofo enti sika modi akrasa ne ma we no mode bua oman no na oman ne ko nanimu anka mompe. When are you going to think as a human being? When? Enti se unya sika France foni nyina adebe mawo na won krofo fama niemu amfaso be na abenya. Enti omo ayen yihwemu no na fei omo ahunu ba bia sika ta akire no. Na why na this carry ta akire? Hey, Ibrahim Traoré, Bumian Twitcher, I salute you. Now, on yes, MP's beer. Ibrahim Traoré buy now on kuta on mine one. One more, I'm on mine a huna maniano, woman a chachre, a disagma bonny. Almost chilabacuno or can no more some or can I say? Oh, you're sorry. Say abrofono I can say omode kebi mami kebi na ebre then so na ade adi akire ni say ye ton ye nia ye nkasa ye man no ama wo omo ye hwemo no wo mo timi akire nkrofo bi a wo mo wo Burkina hono mo ankasa a omo tai sa awudi sam we achi. Now when my dream watching, I dream watching and say, and come but to Ibrahim Traoré idea so. Now you are uncle that nation's neck on Mali and in Niger. Sam Rantier ya woman Danny Africa ni ama or man and your muscle journal come be your my free. Not your way by ya and can you say 3 nations in could be Ramanu. Either says uncle for be Jania Bagana, a be Jania ko other countries. Because a kudia ka omodi eura or mine new mono, and ya kudia kitwa. And ya kudia kitwa. Ye den yankopona se nyami oyiwa na wa ma unyansa. Na mami nka asem we na Ghana mpanimfo no ntiase we nyansa efiri Adkwart Studios unya no bia ti haye so ye adea eya we ye adea eya na o man ji otumu na nature ji otumu a nature no e de nia we de be build nature no o man no e hye won sakwa say den nanka oil it me pie wo Burkina Faso. Burkina men si baby out. Koma pono kokohwe baby a Burkina e wo Ghana esro. Enso na oil a pie wo Burkina Faso. Why? Because abrantie ni kutadwin papa. Ti niema se fom ni nyina no pie se jeyan na fese esi o man no. Enu nti ne nyamede en hye fom ho. Adia na ye ka ensem we ho na oti ensem we adia na ye ka kiro abibifo no a mesi ansa na abrofo no ombenya kwan e wo ye mamu no na ye ne ankasa na yakukuru oman no ade ahye wo hunsa MPB na oba na won koto adwem bone na wo fa tirimu efa no wodi abayifo kura no toto wo mu anankaye adwem bone nko na wo bi etirimu na Ghana won ga tu galamsey efa ye MPC na etu galamsey no fa na kwachi wo Eradi onhu emobo. Mesi Eradi onhu emobo. Na ye the Eradi as say Ibrahim Traoré osi onai. Ena adie baako no say o kan sem bi osi now Burkina Faso is united. Asem o kan no osi say no nka adie a ebema na manyosem na aye hu ni say enka wo mu apapa because omo a aye omo adwen say ombe protest against ni nyina no omo ya na won ankasa abebɔ na mane na enkrofo me ehun ada ho omo try more than 22 times within 3 years. Ade enko na mo hwehwe ade enko na mo hwehwe utie ensem a na ekoso ya ayayere ho sem. Why? Well, black man betraying his own brother because of money. I can't understand. Why? Can't you see? Can't you feel? Can't you acknowledge what is going on at Burkina Faso? If you are sleeping, you need to be awake. And let me tell you something. Let me sound this warning to you. If you betray these African leaders, let me tell you. Now, nature will not forgive you. Nature will not forgive you. And you pass this curse upon your children, although you have money. But you will never enjoy that money. Let me sound this warning to you. Because most of the Africans does not think as human beings. And some of you doesn't have conscience. God have mercy. Now it is time for you and I to support Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré, your father is somewhere far away. But we will get there. We will get there, though we will cross many waters, many rivers. We will climb many mountains, but let me assure you, we will get there. I believe with all surety that one day Africa will leave a banner. Now 54 nations will leave a banner as united continent. We will get there. And Africa will reign. Africa is not under curse. But our problem is we have wicked leaders, corrupt leaders, selfish, mean leaders. But God will deliver us from your hands. And one day, Africa will liberate for our freedom. Freedom! God bless you for watching. Bye-bye.